I don't think you're ready for this. Andrew Schulz went absolutely beast mode on Charlamagne for parroting the same old talking points that have lost Democrats this election, and it started when he refused to connect the dots from Elon Musk's DOGE to why so much of the working class has swayed to the right in this election. Watch this and you're going to know exactly what I'm talking about.
If you have a company, right, or you have a private investigation, or whatever it is, whatever you want to call DOGE, a federal investigation into corruption in these government agencies, the American people right now, all-time low confidence in government institutions, right? We know that for a fact. We do not trust politicians. We don't trust government institutions at all. All-time low confidence. When you got a guy coming in going, yo, I'm going to start vetting these government institutions to see if there's some corruption, if they're hiding some money.
But who's vetting this guy?
Hold on. Let me just get it all out. You might be logical here. I'm just telling you, like, emotionally how people are reacting. I don't trust the government. I feel like they're trying to f me. Eggs cost $50. This guy's coming in and going, I'm going to look into this because I think there's a lot of corruption, there's a lot of waste, and people are getting rich on the side on your money. The second he says he's going to do that, you have this immediate, massive blowback on this guy, right? To me, if you also felt like the government has some inefficiencies and the government has low confidence and the government has this bureaucracy that might be getting in the way of the American people getting what they want, if you're a Democrat as well, you should go, yeah, we should look into that. We should expose any corruption, Republican or Democrat.
It sounds good on his face. But
I'm just saying, real quick.
Okay.
If just looking into something, there's pushback, you hiding something. That's what I'm like. Like, for example, if the police show up to the house.
I don't think it's pushback, though.
Let me just.
No, there is pushback.
There's crazy pushback.
No, it's not pushback.
Hold on.
No,
Let me just get it
pushback.
out. If the police show up to the house and they're like, we'd like to go in your basement. And the guy's like, why do you want to go into, what, you can't go into my basement. No, we have a, whatever that thing is called, to look into your basement. You can't go to the basement. As a policeman, I'm going, there's some in that basement. If you are fighting.
Or you just know your rights and you know that you can't search my house without a warrant.
I got the warrant.
But you got a warrant, they don't got to ask.
Well, he got a warrant.
Yeah. But my thing
Those got a warrant.
No, they don't.
They have the right to do it.
Who says who?
The president.
And you want proof of that? Think back to the curious pushback we've seen from the bureaucracy over the past 5 weeks, even on the first few steps towards audit and accountability. By the way, this channel is where you see the real story behind the curtains, so please be sure to subscribe to Millionaire Mentor to become part of the conversation. Now, back in February, DOGE instructed all federal employees to draft a weekly report of 5 things they got done in their department, which sounds like a very mild step to accountability. I can tell you 5 things I've done today for the channel. And the bureaucrats in the State Department, FBI, and Department of Defense all went out of their way to issue orders against it, leading to a curious pushback from bureaucrats and departments that you'd think are just supposed to follow orders. Not just that, why aren't we hearing more about the bombshell that DOGE revealed just a few weeks ago, when more than $4.7 trillion of payments from the Treasury Department were untraceable because they conveniently were missing a vital tracking code? Did none of that factor into the decision of a federal judge blocking DOGE's access to the department, which in itself raises questions about judicial authority?
The worst thing for the Democrat Party is if the debt does go down.
To be honest with you, the worst thing, you're right, but honestly, the worst thing that could happen is Elon gives out them $5,000 stimulus checks.
Oh, it's over.
He give out them $5,000 stimulus checks.
It's a wrap.
It's going to be bad for a while.
Imagine what people will feel when they go, by the way, this isn't us giving you money. This is us giving you your hard-earned money back. You deserve this.
Listen, from a political, from a political marketing perspective, it's genius.
Because they understand what people are feeling. And the Democrats, instead of crying about all this and labeling him big bad man and all this other stuff, they should really be paying attention to what the American people are feeling and finding ways for their policies to have messaging that taps into what Americans are feeling. Don't gaslight them.
I'm with you.
You have to understand what they're feeling and then implement policies that tap into that.
That would be a political masterstroke like nothing else. And remember, these proposed DOGE dividend checks are going to not be like the stimulus checks in 2020, which were printed out of thin air to be paid back in the next few years through inflation. This is genuinely American taxpayer dollars making its way back to their pockets. Nothing like this has ever happened before, and it's going to be a reality check even to the most hardcore leftist voters, especially in an America where a third of the citizens are not even prepared for a $400 emergency. No wonder why a majority of people are actually appreciating the sight of a wrecking ball like DOGE going into these bloated departments with 76% of Americans supporting the elimination of fraud and waste in government and expenditures according to last polling data. And if that happens, honestly, this is going to take the crisis of PR for the Democrats to a completely new level, because for too long they've played politics on identity and lost that populist and class warfare political style to the Republicans.
The issue with Democrats right now is it's hard for them. They are the party of progress, right? And that's good. Without a progressive party, we don't get progress. We don't get women voting, right? We don't get rights for everybody. We don't get environmental measures. We don't get these things that actually benefit all of us and benefit individual groups that are oppressed, which we do need. When you're a progressive party, you want to keep pushing for more progress and more inclusivity. They're at a point right now where they don't know where the line is in terms of what they say. So when you talk to them, they're kind of like very unrelatable to hang out with. Whereas Republicans are conservative values. It's like, let's back it up. Used to be better. Make America great again. We're going to go back, right? So they don't have to worry about offending this, I'm going to put it in quotes, extreme progress, right? And the problem with Democrats right now is they can't have a convo and make jokes about pronouns because they're like, that group's going to be upset. They can't have a convo and make a gay joke because that group's going to be upset. They can't have a convo about migrants or something like that because they're like, that's going to be upset. They can't have convos about anything. So they're kind of standing there neutered. They can be eloquent. They can be brilliant. They can be smart like a Buttigieg, but they can't be relatable. They can't like when the Indian guy was asking Trump the question at the press conference and he had the strong Indian accent and Trump just went, I don't understand a word this motherfucker is saying. That is relatable to every American, regardless of which side you're on. And a Democrat would never say that. They'd be like, sir, would you mind if you could word that again in a way?
Schulz, you're absolutely right. But name me one Republican who can do that other than Trump.
Oh, there's some crazy Republicans out there.
Name them.
Nancy Mace does not give a
Well, that's just, come on. But Nancy's not running for president.
But there is 100 of those types of Republicans.
You can't name them.
That's easy. Charlamagne is plain wrong to think it's just Trump, because even at the most charitable reading, there's a dozen more people that are at least close to the blunt yet relatable public persona and speaking style that have been inspired by him. Number one example, J.D. Vance himself. Did you see him back up the president in his scuffle with Zelensky? Not just that, Vivek Ramaswamy, Byron Donalds, Matt Gaetz, Josh Hawley, you name it. These are all names that are next in line to inherit this MAGA brand of the Republican Party, all the while the Democrats struggle to even have a public face for their party. And it's especially sad when they've missed chances to actually do that, both with a name and a truly progressive ideology for the Democrats in this decade.
This is what the Democrats are terrified to do. They could make it a class war and win. That's what Bernie did. Bernie made it a class war. He wasn't even worried about your flags and trans this and gay that. He wasn't even tripping on it. He was just like, billionaires got too much money and too much influence. These corporations got too much money and influence. They're over working class people, and I want to ride for working class people. Let me get it all.
Okay.
He came out, he said that. Me, you, Alex, Rogan, the whole world, at least it felt like so many Americans were like, yo, this dude is spitting. I like this guy. This guy's from Maine or Vermont, some Jewish dude from Maine or where the he's from. Yeah. I like this guy. I don't even care what his identity is. I like what he's saying. The Democrats are afraid to do that because they're in the pockets of these billion-dollar corporations. So since they won't talk about the class war, which is the only relatable thing they could talk about, they got to talk about these like tiny little microaggressions that are so unrelatable to the average American.
And that's going to fail every single time. I don't know what it's going to take for the modern Democratic Party to realize that it's got to reclaim what it's supposed to stand for if it wants to make a comeback in the next election. Pro-working class policies get rid of identity politics and create a populist uprising of the party that brings a leader from among the people. Till then, we're going to keep having these discussions because no matter which end of the political spectrum that you are on, you realize how important a strong and viable opposition party is, because that's what always lands you in a reasonable center. But let me know in the comments if you agree, because it is certainly going to take a lot of introspection to make that happen.